Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland, everybody. Alongside Stephen Mullinex, I am Cameron Irvine. The 5th of 11 preseason matchups on the SFL Network this week. Vultures Stadium in Maryland. Beautiful evening. How you doing, Stephen?
Oh, wonderful. Great to be back with you here, back-to-back nights here for some preseason action. Getting to see this Baltimore team that went 9-3 last season, trying to get over that playoff hump, while we also have on the other side a new exciting team the last season, the New Orleans Pharaohs, 6-6, knocking on the door of the playoffs. We've got some exciting players, some changes, some rookies, all different things to talk about tonight. So super excited to see some of these debuts.
Coin toss next between the all-white Pharaohs and the all-black Vultures, our uniform combo tonight. Calling the coin toss is Matt Wolf, who greatly improved as the season went along last year, as a lot of New Orleans Pharaohs offensive players did. Baltimore will kick to start the ball game. And New Orleans will receive the ball on the tee from Shark Tarkington. And from Baltimore, Maryland, we are underway. Kick it! Here in preseason action. From the 3, on the return, Arrington up to the 23-yard line. It looks like he's going to play the full game tonight, Stephen, as Xander Gold will head out onto the field. And by the way, for those wondering about Baltimore's rebrand, you can expect to see something very, very soon.
Well, Cam, I'm super excited about seeing Xander Gold here in his second season. We watched him early on. I think we actually watched his SFL debut and had a chance to see him under center for the first time. And he did a really good job, but his receivers had a tough time catching the ball. That changed as the season went on.
And offside on the very first play. MeUndies laundry on the field here as the new rookie Logan Jack gets the carry, but it'll be wiped away due to an offsides on Michael Wall. And we've seen a lot of offsides tonight. We had 4 in the first game.
Well, let's not forget, this is the preseason for these referees as well. So you're going to see probably more calls in the preseason typically than the regular season, as teams are implementing new rules and changes and things like that.
Somebody better tell them it's the regular season in week 9 when they're pulling some questionable decisions out there.
All you got to do is fire R62, and I think like 90% of your problems are going to be eliminated.
1st and 5 at the 28-yard line for New Orleans. In all white, Xander Gold, no longer a rookie. Back to pass for the first time tonight. Oh, it's a dangerous one in the no McFly zone. Makes a play early. Pass intended for Matt Wolf, and Kaz McFly, one of the most exciting rookies from season 11.
Yeah, and in recent SFL memory, I mean, to have a rookie come up and a defender at that, not an offensive skill player, but a defender, and make such a name for himself and a Pro Bowl in his first season, kind of unheard of.
So 2 in the backfield for New Orleans on 2nd down and 5. Have not moved the ball yet on offense, and Logan Jack gets a helmet to the chest from Joe Dazzo. And also there to make the play, Miles Jackson, but it'll bring up 3rd down and 7 for the Pharaohs.
Well, I understand New Orleans wants to get their new running back, the rookie, 10th overall pick, and Jack, accustomed to playing with his team in real action here, but they're going against one of the top linebacker corps in the SFL.
Trips right for Xander Gold. Dime look for Baltimore. And Gold will drop back to pass and fires near side. Caught. Matt Wolf down the sideline. What a nice tackle in the open field by Tony Willis. But Wolf picks up the 1st down for New Orleans.
And one of the reasons why I was so looking forward to seeing Gold here under center is the fact that he completed 71% of his passes, Cam, which is amazing when you think about all the drops that he had to deal with early on.
Gold to throw, and that pass is caught. Willis, another hit on Matt Wolf. 5-yard gain.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting transition year a little bit for New Orleans in their passing game. They have Matt Wolf as kind of their most consistent receiver from last season, and then they add a playmaker in Deezer Powell from Oklahoma City, who matches Wolf almost identically in numbers. So this combo is going to be really interesting to watch.
And off to Jack, nothing much there, and Tony Willis is there again on the tackle. 3 on this opening drive for Willis, the former Alaska Storm member.
Yeah, and the championship really catalyst for that first Alaska title. Surprising that the fact that he didn't make the Pro Bowl last year, Cam. I think a lot of people thought he should have.
We broadcast that from Media Tech Institute. That was a lot of fun as Matt Wolf makes the catch, but short of the first down. You know, Steven, it's kind of, looking back at it, remember we were at Media Tech Institute, and then we were at the convention, and it was kind of funny broadcasting at Media Tech Institute. We had never done anything like that before, and it was kind of like a convention warm-up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and of the two, I think you know, the audience was just so much more involved in the second one. It just made it an entirely different experience here, as this penalty is going to negate what was a good defensive play right there.
Yeah, more MeUndies laundry on the field, and Baltimore just gave New Orleans a first down. It was 4th and 2, Stephen, and their second offsides here at home keeps the New Orleans drive alive. They've been on the field for almost 3 minutes now.
Yeah, and you know what? It's those kind of lucky breaks that can make the difference between you posting, like the Pharaohs did, a 6-6 season and not making it into the playoffs when they had an opportunity to do so in their very last game of the season, but they had a loss to Dallas that kept them out of the postseason.
There's a look at Logan Jack. 7:45 to go in the first quarter here early on in Baltimore. A late start here at Vulture Stadium, and Jack has had absolutely nowhere to run as Amon takes and company get in there. Back to the convention at Media Tech Institute. You were saying that the audience was a whole lot more enthusiastic.
Yeah, you know, again, it was kind of the first time we've ever done anything live like that in front of kind of an invested audience, but one that was really quiet and reserved and really just studying what we were doing. And at the convention, it was just fun and laughter and being with your comrades and friends.
I just remember as Gold's pass is caught by Powell down the field. I'll hold my comment about our president here in just a moment, but what a catch by Powell over the middle. That's exactly what they're hoping to get out of him.
Yeah, and that's what Powell brought to Oklahoma City, and they're hoping that he's going to be able to bring here to New Orleans, is just another playmaker to pair with Wolf and really give this young quarterback a lot of confidence in his receiver.
That was on Tony Willis as well, who they've been attacking a lot here in the first half. 6:46 to go. Toss out to Jack. Doesn't get anything. Lost a 3. So I just remember one of my favorite memories of that opening night of the convention was watching Jermaine Smith in the front row, just wallowing in despair over Alex Dominguez's Elephant Man face, and how he was so disappointed that he had done that or had missed that at the convention, and just seeing his displeasure every time they put Dominguez on the big screen. It was quite funny.
He's passionate, takes it seriously.
2nd and 13 for Gold. That pass is caught. Nice route design there for New Orleans. Pass is caught by number 86, Joel Hart. New Orleans only employing 4 contracted players on this offense, 8 on the defensive side of the ball. It's going to be an interesting build for them.
Yeah, and it just means they have to be really focused about getting their playmakers the ball, but they're also going to have to incorporate some of these role players.
Out of the gun, Gold on 3rd down and 7. Oh, almost intercepted, but over the hands of Kaz McFly, all the way down to the 2-yard line. That is number 19, Jaquez Lynch, making the play.
We'll give all the credit here really to Gold, as he just lays out a perfect pass. That's the perfect dime over 2 defenders, Cam, and a good job of the receiver there, just Lynch, being able to focus despite the traffic in front of him.
I think McFly thought he had a pick 6 there. I mean, he jumped like he was about to get on the human highlight reel, and that did not happen. And off to Logan Jack. He's not had much success in the first quarter, but Logan Jack on that carry into the end zone, and he's got his first unofficial SFL touchdown.
Yeah, just a good job of blocking in front of him, and Jack just being patient to read his blocks and get in behind his fullback and push forward for the touchdown. Hasn't had a lot of room in this game, not a lot of big running lanes, but as you can see, their persistence paid off. And you get a guy that's 5'11", 242 with 2 yards to the end zone, most guys are going to push that forward.
5:16 left, first quarter. New Orleans scores on their first possession, very similar to what Vancouver did earlier tonight. They scored on a lengthy drive. This one, 6 minutes and 44 seconds, kept alive by an offside penalty on a 4th and 2, and the Pharaohs have the early lead here in Baltimore.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That drive doesn't happen if Baltimore doesn't commit that offsides penalty. So really shooting themselves in the foot early. I'm sure, Tom Patinetti, the coach for Baltimore, is happy that at least it happened in the preseason. Maybe they can learn from it before the real action starts.
Baltimore, an interesting case last season, is a nice return here up to the 30 for number 12, Cody Apollo. This Baltimore team, despite a lot of success last year with a few changes on offense, particularly in the receiving core. They have rookies Bishop Warfield and Lee Weber as undrafted rookies. Daley Holder becomes the veteran of this receiving core as Carroll went to OKC and Malone retired. And so with 5:11 to go, T. Roy Gaines gets the carry, and obviously they still have some familiar faces as well.
Well, let's not forget that, T-Pat, the coach, now for the Vultures, offensive coordinator, wasn't added to this team until week 2 of last season. So he really wasn't involved, or he wasn't involved at all in any of the personnel decisions. So him now on board through having a full offseason with him there on board, they're able to make the changes, especially on offense, the way that he wants to.
Mike Dazzo's pass against the blitz, one-on-one coverage is caught down the field by Lee Weber, and that's an early start for the rookie tight end.
He had a beautiful pass by Dazzo, really just to lay it out, but you're right, Cam. The separation by the rookie is what really leads to this easy catch. He gets a good 4 yards on the rookie, Mac McDaniel, something the rookie's going to get 2 rookies going head-to-head there, and one gets a lesson on how to cover a tight end.
7-0 off of Weber's big gain. Dazzo under center, and he'll throw again. 1st and 10, stepping up in the pocket. Mike Dazzo threw into traffic. That pass is incomplete, intended for Bishop Warfield. And one of the most fun things about the preseason, Stephen, is us getting to learn all these new names and numbers.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's there's always something new to learn, and I'm really excited about the different changes. Not only the rookies that come into the league, but the movement by the veterans adds such great storylines, especially when you're talking about revenge when they're playing their old teams.
2nd down and 10 after the incomplete pass from Dazzo. Dazzo playing in his 7th season in the SFL, tosses that one out to Gaines. T. Roy Gaines breaks a tackle, and Gaines picks up 6 on the run. Haven't gotten to talk too much about New Orleans defense tonight here in the first quarter, but Mac McDaniel makes that tackle, and McDaniel, of course, a returner, one of the best players on this defense last year, along with Arrington.
And they've invested so much into this defense, Cam, in the offseason. So many big contracts. Let's see if maybe that translates onto the field.
Pass caught, 1st down. Daley Holder out to the 20-yard line. Dazzo certainly looks sharp in the early season, and Baltimore is in the red zone.
And you're talking about a guy here in Holder who has been a star, a superstar in this league, settled for a role as the 3rd wide receiver for Baltimore, now is getting promoted here into being one of the 2 starters with the exodus of Carroll and Garen Malone, as you mentioned before.
3:15 to go in the first. I formation for Baltimore, 2 receivers, 1 to either side, and 7 in the box for New Orleans in a traditional 4-3 look. Hand off to Gaines, right up the middle. Gaines shreds 2 tacklers, and then 2 needed to bring him down. Tackles made by Tank Bennett, number 27, Rolliman Hood, number 28, and Gaines picks up 9.
When I see T. Roy Gaines and having commentated the game last night with A.J. Francis's debut in Tallahassee, I see a lot of A.J. Francis and T. Roy Gaines, but a lot more power in the way that he runs.
Out of the eye, Dazzo swoops it out to Gaines, cuts it back inside, and Gaines showing some quickness to get to the 26 yards of rushing now.
Well, now you're seeing the combination, the formula in which Baltimore was able to post a 9-3 record last season. They are equally effective on the ground as they are through the air, and have the playmakers to run probably the most balanced offense in the SFL.
2:13 to go in the first, and both of these teams have had the ball just once. Out of the eye, Baltimore trying to answer New Orleans' touchdown and a goal line defense with 10 in the box. Hand off to Gaines. It does not matter, and Gaines almost scored, but is down at the 1-yard line. I don't know how he didn't score, because he hit the only hole he had, and McDaniel saved the touchdown.
Yeah, if it's not a touchdown, it's about an inch away. And Cam, we don't see a lot of quarterback sneaks. That could be something you see here, but I think they just go with Gaines the way he's running right now.
1:40 to go in the first quarter. Dazzo hands it off to Gaines. Walk it in. Touchdown, Baltimore.
Yeah, this is a guy here in Gaines. It was really a wonderful player to watch last season. Nearly 1,300 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns on the ground. But they also used him, Cam, as a receiver. A whopping 84 receptions last season, more than some of the starting quarterbacks here in the SFL, more than any of the wide receivers on the Pharaoh side of the ball. This is a guy here that's just multi-talented, multi-tool weapon that they use, and really the engine of their offense.
We're going to see Baltimore on opening night when they take on the Alaska Storm. Obviously, Thomas Paternitti, the head coach, a two-time champion of the SFL Season 4 and Season 7. And then, of course, Max Paul, two-time champion, reigning two-time champion from Season 10 and Season 11. A bit surprising what Mexico City was able to do last year in the playoffs when Mike Daggs knocked the Vultures out.
Yeah, I think it just shows you that these former champions, like Ramos Lynn, you just can't count them out, because regardless of how their team is built, how their player progression has worked, they've been to the Mecca. They know how to get there, and they are geniuses of the playbook who can pull out a win despite maybe the rosters not looking like they fare well against each other.
So Easy asked me this in the first broadcast of the night, and I'll pose this question to you, and you can feel free to answer after the play. But the question is, what teams do you feel like are the sleepers, are the dark horses of this upcoming season, and what they've done in the off season and all that? Is Jack, it's his longest carry of the day for 6.
Yeah, I need to think about that, Cam, because
chew on it a little bit.
Yeah, I absolutely do, and let me do that. But I do want to say that I think the gap between what Alaska does and every other team gets smaller and smaller as the weeks progress here. And I think if there's going to be a season where Alaska finally finds a solid opponent to face them, as we have an offsides there, it's going to be this season.
More MeUndies laundry on the field, and I tell you what, I don't think we saw a single penalty last night, and I've seen now at least 7 over the last couple of games.
Wow.
And they've all been offsides, as Baltimore's called for yet another. And I don't know if the Vultures are just giddy tonight or what, but they need to relax.
Yeah, you're right. And again, that's not a good sign, and bodes well there for Baltimore. As you mentioned, they faced the 2-time back-to-back champions in week 1. And that's really, we see that as kind of a statement game that for Baltimore to really show that, they deserve to be in that championship conversation again.
Hand off to Jack, and he's not having any reason to get you excited about his play, because immediately as he gets the ball, somebody's always there to wrap him up. That was Hendricks Thornberry with the tackle.
Yeah, again, he did have that 2-yard touchdown, but that might have been his biggest gain of the night.
Hand off, and Jack only got a couple more. Tony Willis gets his 5th tackle of the first quarter. And that is the end of the first quarter. We're all tied at 7. You're watching the SFL Network on YouTube, presented by APM Music. We're back after this. Four receivers for Gold on 3rd down and 8 to start the second quarter. Matt Wolf hit by Willis. Tackle number 6. Boy, we better get out a calculator because Tony Willis is not going to stop.
Yeah, and it didn't help the fact that Wolf, I think, was knocked out of his route a little bit. So by the time he got the ball, he was 10 yards away from the first down marker and having to try and beat 3 Baltimore defenders. So just not ideal. And a good stop by this Baltimore defense.
10:26 to go in the second quarter, and New Orleans punts it away from the 20-yard line. And on the return is Holder. Joe Dazomon takes Giovanni Bolt, another guy we haven't mentioned tonight. Tony Willis, Hendricks Thornberry, Kaz McFly on this Baltimore defense that just got the stop.
Yeah, Bolt, what a great season he had in his first season here in Baltimore, coming over from Carolina as a rookie. 90 tackles and a whopping 10 interceptions at the free safety position.
10:19 first half. Mike Dazzo shot into traffic looking for Weber. McDaniel was in coverage, and that's a linebacker on a tight end matchup that is sexy to see, as those two players are really, really good.
Well, Weber did the right thing, and you like to see this out of your rookie, that he actually, like a power forward in basketball, Cam, really blocked off the defender and gave his quarterback a window to see his front numbers there, and just couldn't connect. But that's a good sign from a rookie player.
10:15 to go, 2nd down and 10 at the 23. Dazzo in the red lids tonight gets it to Weber, and Weber's got a first down to the 33. Boy, looking Weber's way often in the first half moves the chains.
Well, no doubt wanting to get the rookie involved in some of this preseason action, wear some of that college rust off, and so that he can be as comfortable as possible when they face tough Alaska Storm team.
9:50 to go. Dazzo and the Vultures back on the move. Their second possession. As Mike Dazzo completes yet another pass. That is to Bishop Warfield. Dazzo looking sharp. I don't think he's thrown an incompletion here. Though actually, I take that back. McDaniel breaking that up from Weber just a minute ago.
Well, Cam, here I think this is the closest thing you're going to see to a rub route here in the SFL. As the other receiver actually just had turned around in his route and stopped. And the two defenders kind of hit each other and allowed for that completion to be just a bit easier.
T-Roy's got a touchdown. Jack's got a touchdown. We're tied at 7. 9:15 to go first half. SFL preseason action. Dazzo hands it off to Gaines, and Gaines is still moving. One man to beat in a touchdown-saving tackle by Tank Bennett. 54 yards on 7 carries for T-Roy.
Well, Gaines benefits from a massive hole right there in the offensive line, but really good agility to get into that hole. And then we know he's a powerful runner who will just pile drive any defender. Look, he's a secondary nightmare, Cam. So if he gets in there and you're having a safety or corner to try and stop him, he's got the advantage.
Papa Jones getting the brunt of T-Roy's attack on that last play. Looking like a Kappa Theta out on the front lawn night after a bender. 8:35 to go in the first half. A 7-yard gain for T-Roy.
Hey, Cam, going back to that sleeper question, I think it's got to be Vancouver. I mean, this is a team that lost so many of their games by less than a touchdown. Had a last-second opportunity in the end zone to beat Alaska, which no team has done in like a season in more than a half.
Pass caught by Weber again, inside the 20 down to the 14-yard line. 8:05 to play in the first half, and Weber's already got 4 receptions.
This gives you just a kind of an idea of what Thomas Paternetti can do with a tight end. You know, in his championship runs, he had really good tight ends make key plays for him, get to those championship games. And this rookie here is just landed in a great position, and we can see the potential of what he can achieve in this T-Pat offense.
I'm dating myself, but Marcus Campbell was a tight end back from the Grand Rapids, Minneapolis days that I know made some big plays for him. And I'm trying to think of who was on that season 7 squad when they won the title against Louisville. I think he had a tight end that season as well. I know he had Bose back there. That was the early signs of Swing City, but done kind of in a different way, as with a power back instead of a speedy guy.
And a back that reminds me a lot of T-Roy Gaines. T-Roy Gaines has that similar speed and power as Bose.
2nd and 3 at the 7. 7:10 to go in the first half. Hand off to Gaines. Gaines! Oh, get off me, son! Touchdown, Baltimore! Gaines has 2.
And it's just the stretch run there to the right, and it's just basically saying that the quarterback not seeing any defenders are up on the line to the right-hand side, able to give the ball to his big running back, and it's just one-on-one, and with his shoulder down, he pops it into number 21, Kappa Jones again on the receiving end. Boy, Kappa Jones he's going to need some medical attention on the sidelines. You keep taking hits like that.
What's that show called? Keeping Up with the Joneses? Is that a thing? Am I making that up?
Keeping Up with the Joneses. I think so. I think it is. If it's not, it should be, or at least sounds like one.
It's like a sitcom, right? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Keeping it around. I think it was also it was a movie with John Hamm and the Wonder Woman. Well, I think that was Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Really? So that's what.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe. But it does sound,
you're
probably
right. You're just saying actors and actresses' names, and you're just throwing it in there. There was no movie. There's no movie with John Hamm and Zach Galifianakis.
Hey, that's what the chat's for. Come on, educate us.
You're just pulling my leg. Now I have to look it up. Arrington on the return from the 4-yard line. Arrington makes a man miss, and then out at the 29. I don't think we can. I don't think we have enough in the tank tonight to watch another fantastic punt or kick return. You called it. Ooh. 2016, Keeping Up with the Joneses. You even got the cast right.
Well, I can remember the cast. Yeah, that was actually a pretty decent movie, you know, and one of those where you think it's going to be a stinker, and you eventually see it, and it's better than you thought.
Anyway, the point was we need to be keeping up with all the broken tackles on Jones. But that's like 4 plays ago, so.
It's unfair, man. That's just unfair. I mean, T-Roy Gaines at 6'2", 240, and Kappa Jones, you know, barely breaking 200. It's just not a fair matchup. But you know, it's one that as a free safety, sometimes you got to sacrifice that body and make those plays. Oh man, it's a big run.
Look at that block there. That is definitely the block of the game there, brought to you by Movement. Logan Jack gets 26 yards, and look at this block to free him up. Wham!
Yeah, and actually more than one. I mean, a couple of really good blocks there to free him. As you mentioned, you know, he hasn't had the running lanes that T-Roy Gaines has had on the other side of the field, and I apologize, Jack, that's your best run of the game here so far, and I was blathering on about some movie or whatever, but just a solid play to build on for this rookie and build his confidence.
6:22 to go in the first half. 1st and 10 at the 42 now for New Orleans. On the move, trying to answer the Baltimore touchdown. And Jack is wrapped up by big number 70, Albert Butler. Steven, I don't know what I would do if I was that big.
Well, Butler serving out some punishment right there. Really, it looked like that Jack was going to be able to wiggle out and maybe get a break there in the middle of the line, but sticky hands by Butler keeps him on the ground.
2 receivers, 1 to either side. Good offensive series here for New Orleans. Xander Gold looking around, 4-man rush. Oh, Xander Gold! He got pummeled by Carter Abraham. What a hit!
and knocked him woozy, Cam. He's on the ground wondering where he is. Concussion protocol might apply here, but as a quarterback who's been in the league for a season, you don't expect him to hold the ball that long without either throwing it away or making a run for it.
Gold to throw outside, caught, but over 2 defenders, and Wolf drags a man down the sideline for a first down at the 31-yard line. Heck of a play by Wolf, but a better pass from Gold.
Yeah, we talked about Gold last season as a rookie coming in. The guy can make all the throws. He has a magical arm, and once again, he shows that magic off a little bit by lofting the ball over defenders, perfectly placed for his receiver to catch it and make a first down.
4:50 left in the first half. Gold to throw again. Outside, and a couple of defenders in the same area, but the one got a block. Wolf down the sideline, and Wolf is down to the 6. What a great block down the field by Deezer Powell to free up Wolf. What a play.
Well, typically you do not want to send 2 receivers to the same area because it bunches up the defenders there. But in this case, what it does, it perfectly sets up a block for the receiver who does catch the ball, and it means that they're trucking down the field and have an opportunity once again to get into the end zone.
And Wolf stayed in bounds too, which was even more impressive, tiptoeing down the sideline. Toss out to Jack on 1st and goal, nothing. Thornberry from the cornerback slot comes over to drop him for a loss of about 1.5 yards.
And Cam, don't you get the feeling that even though they've only invested 4 really star contracts on the offensive side, it's not going to be an issue the way that we see this team going down the field against a really tough Baltimore's defense?
Yeah, I'm impressed so far with Powell's integration into this offense here as Gold flips it outside of the fullback, and he's pushed out at the 4. That tackle made by Pete Lloyd at corner, and Brock Cartwright makes the catch. 2 teams testing our rosters here tonight.
And a lot of the questions surrounding New Orleans is, how do they replace Donk Balkers, their running back? This is a guy that was their offense last season. We'll talk more about him after this play.
3rd down and goal at the 3. Gold trying to get the touchdown. Hit as he threw, and the pass is through the hands of Joe Hart, and the pressure forced Gold to get rid of it, and it looked like a catchable ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the kind of plays that this receiver core was making at the beginning of last season that they corrected and really helped boost Gold's completion percentage to 71%. That's something you typically do not see, or do not want to see here from New Orleans, because they've had a history of it.
I'll give credit to Xander Goldman. He stood in there and he took a shot to get that ball off, trying to get the touchdown. Chip shot field goal is good. It's 14-10. And let's get back to the Donk Bonkers discussion, as he kind of surprisingly retired at the end of the season and didn't really sign anywhere else after playing in Oklahoma City and then New Orleans. And all of a sudden, New Orleans needed a running back.
Yeah, this was a guy that wasn't just their lead running back and the best offensive player, but he actually led the team in receptions as well, Cam. 112 receptions for 590 yards and 3 touchdowns from a running back. So it just tells you how integrated into their overall offense that he was. And you lose a player like that, and you're just kind of shaking your head, especially if you're a team like New Orleans, who was on the brink of making the playoffs. So, you know, they did have a top 10 pick in the draft, but it was at number 10. So you're hoping that a playmaker falls to you. Lucky for them, I think they found a good one here in Logan Jack.
3.5 to go in the first half. Really entertaining first half of play as Baltimore's up 14-10. A lot of really nice football being played here tonight. T-Roy Gaines past midfield, and Gaines has 4 Pharaohs out of the tomb chasing him down the field, but not until he gets to the Pharaoh 41-yard line.
Well, New Orleans is making it just too easy here for Baltimore to run the ball on the right side of the field. Cam, if you'll notice, they're running away from the strength of this defense, which is the left side that has both Batir and McDaniel there as linebackers. McDaniel being the right outside linebacker, and so they're running away from those players, and it's just the defense is going to need to adjust because there's just nobody catching Gains for 10 to 15 yards.
2:58 to go in the half. Handoff gains. Oh boy, take a minute and catch your breath as McDaniel puts him down after a 5-yard gain.
Well, it shows you why they're running away from the rookie. You know, they know his potential there. McDaniel really lays the wood there, but it's kind of retribution, Cam. It's Gaines has been really laying out players like Jones on the defensive side of the ball. It's going to anger this defense. They're going to want a little bit of revenge for sure.
And off on a draw, that's Gaines going nowhere. 3rd and 6 coming up as New Orleans quickly there to make that stopper tier on the tackle in his 2nd year. Arrington playing his 7th season of ball. Ray West on the defensive line. Haven't gotten a chance to talk about the defensive line too much today for New Orleans. Is in his 3rd year, and he was a former Dallas player.
Yeah, and a former linebacker, trying to make the direct transition to defensive tackle, which I think he absolutely can. A great athletic player.
It's the Quip 2-minute warning here on the SFL Network on YouTube, presented by APM Music. Stay tuned. Dazzo gonna throw, and a deep ball is caught. That is Weber again. Lee Weber at tight end is making one of the strongest impressions at wideout here in the preseason.
Well, we asked the question early, how is Baltimore going to replace players like Garrett Malone, players like Jay Carroll, who were integral to their wide receiver cores as their starters, getting them to the postseason? Well, we're seeing part of the answer, and a big part of the answer here, as they're using Weber as just an explosive tight end, one that, tight ends aren't typically used in this manner, and it's been a dominating performance so far.
Dazzo out to Gaines, picks up just 5. Lee Weber, 6'6", 256, not looking like it on that last play, and this is going to be interesting how these two teams play the clock. Both teams have all 3 timeouts with 1:12 to go.
Yeah, and he's wearing that number 44, Cam. Kind of makes him look like a defensive player out there playing offense.
This is Holder in the slot. I think Weber's out of the game. Split backs, and Warfield at the bottom of the screen. And this is Dazzo into the corner and nearly intercepted there. Kappa Jones had a chance at it. Pass intended for Warfield. Arrington in coverage. That was a dangerous ball from Dazzo.
Yeah, and one that he probably would not throw again. Thinking probably quarterback thought there would be more separation than there was, but there was a receiver. A defender in front of him and behind him. He was just sandwiched. And, unless it's the absolute perfect throw, that's in danger of getting picked off.
That was great camera work there by our friends at 2K Sports. So right in the face of Aaron Arrington as he looked almost right into the camera after he made that play. Dazzo's pass is caught for a touchdown. Wide open. That's Cody Apollo. How about that for a Baltimore score? .51 seconds left. 20-10. So the Vultures have 3 first-half touchdowns here. And Tarkington's extra point is good, and it's 21-10. Baltimore on top of New Orleans. And we remind you to follow us on social media if you have not already done so. If you only follow us on Twitter, follow us everywhere else too. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. All over the interwebs.
Well, the Baltimore Vultures here jump out to a 21-10 lead, but honestly, Cam, I've liked what I've seen from both offenses. They've moved it pretty well down the field. Baltimore on their defensive side has made some costly mistakes and penalty-wise, and as far as the Pharaohs, we haven't really seen that investment in the defense they made in the offseason really pay off in having any success stopping the Vultures' offensive attack.
So New Orleans will take over from their own 26-yard line, down 11. Baltimore playing some good football right now. Trying to put the sour taste of the end of last season behind them. This is a deep drop back from Gold, airing it deep down the middle of the field. Caught by Powell, who breaks a tackle, and Deezer Powell is going to score on the first play of the drive.
Well, Xander Gold is magic. We knew that the moment he stepped onto an SFL field. This guy can make every throw in the book and possibly has the strongest arm in the league. And you give him a weapon like Deezer Powell, a deep threat, proven to be a great deep threat in this league. And boy, they're going to make some magic moments here for the Pharaohs, no doubt, this season.
Did you see Bolt fell trying to cover Powell, and then did you see what happened next?
It looks like they were fumbling over themselves a little bit.
Matt Wolf came over and blocked him. He wasn't paying attention as he was looking at Powell down the field, and Wolf came over and kind of got a cheap shot on him. And
yeah.
Dwayne Schindler in the chat has been talking about how there's been a lot of pushing and shoving out there, and these two teams, well, they've never played each other in an SFL game, really chippy out there tonight. And what a shootout we have in the first half.
Well, you got to get your hits on a Pro Bowler when you can, and how rare is it for an offensive player to be able to block a defensive player? And you know, Matt Wolf at 6'6", 240, that's not some little string bean of a receiver out there. So, you know, that's a legit blocker who can bring the wood.
Can we? TJ says roughing the free safety. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to talk to MeUndies, see if they can get us another penalty flag for that. But on the return out of the 33-yard line is Apollo, and Baltimore will start again. New Orleans may have left them too much time on the clock.
Yeah, dangerous here. And remember, they've got all three of their timeouts. The way that they're using Weber right now, that guy could be key to grabbing a lot of yards very quickly.
3 receivers. Baltimore could elect to just go into the locker room. Baltimore gets the ball to start the second half. There goes Daley Holder down the sideline to the New Orleans 47, but no timeout taken.
Yeah, they should absolutely take a timeout here. I'm not sure why they're not doing it.
18 seconds left. Dazzo. Nobody's open. Dazzo over the middle. Bertier had a chance. It's on his back, and it's incomplete.
Wow, just an opportunity there to make a game-changing play. And this is from a linebacker camp who, you know, we don't typically see linebackers get interception. He had 2 last season along with 8 pass defense.
And that, I think, led the league in terms of number of interceptions for a linebacker. Bertier, like you said, not many linebackers getting picks, but his hands are active. Now 12 seconds left for Baltimore, and they're going to run the thing. And Gaines gets to the 40, and Baltimore's just going to chuck it for a Hail Mary, as they apparently didn't want to score there on that drive.
Yeah, that's terrible time management there.
Horrible.
By Baltimore. And I'm sure there's some confusion there going on the sidelines as to what happened, but yeah, they had every opportunity here to get into field goal range, and even they could attempt a fairly long kick here around a 55, 56-yarder, but like you said, they'll most likely just throw it up and see if they can get some type of reception in the end zone.
Yeah, I think they were trying to draw New Orleans off guard. Certainly took me by surprise when they handed it off to Gaines, but New Orleans stays sound defensively. Just 3 down linemen, but they bring an extra. That's a 4-man rush, but that's a Dazzo Hail Mary, and that pass at the back of the end zone is intercepted. Intercepted in the back by Tank Bennett, who had the I think it was a 92-yard return over Oklahoma City, one of the top plays of last year, and he gets his first pick of season 12. That ends the first half. Your score 21-17. An exciting first half of action here on the SFL Network on YouTube. Plenty of offense. Here are the stats. 222 to 243. What stands out to you, Stephen?
Well, on the Baltimore side of the ball, the dominance and continued dominance of T-Roy Gaines as a running back, his power, his speed, showing all the tools, the entire repertoire tonight of what he brings to a ball game, and still staying on the Vulture side of the ball. This tight end, this rookie tight end, really making a name for himself. Lee Weber has looked like a #1 wide receiver out there, 6'6", 256. And as far as the Pharaohs are concerned, I think we're continue to learn what we already knew, that Xander Gold is a really good quarterback, and now he's got some great a combo of weapons here in Wolf and Powell. And now the biggest question among them, I think, is Jack. You know, can he take over that role that Don Bonkers had so much success for? Defensive side of the ball, the Vultures have made some mistakes, particularly in those offsides penalties that need to be cleaned up. And for the Pharaohs, this overinvestment, some would say, in this defense, they've put so much money into this defense. You don't expect a team like Baltimore to be able to come into this game and score 21, potentially 42 points in this game with how much you've invested on that side of the ball.
Xander Gold, 190 passing yards in the first half. 5 preseason games tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock Central. Carolina goes to London in Eggplant Bowl 2. Stephen Hacker and Gus Schultz there, trying to catch up on the history. New broadcast crew in London. 3 p.m. Mexico City heads to Tulsa, and Colin and Rick Northrup will be there for that call. 5 o'clock, Dallas is at Sioux Falls. Stephen back on the air with Troy Gaines. 7 o'clock, Indy and Houston in prime time with Michael Turillo and Levant Mercer. And at 9 o'clock in the nightcap, a very late nightcap in Atlanta, the Swarm will host the Pride. Pride getting that overtime victory, and I'm sure won't be going at 100 miles an hour. 2 days removed from their victory in San Francisco, they will take on the Swarm with Mike Daggs and Matt Wilson getting their tune-up game on the air.
Yeah, a lot of exciting matchups to watch, and you know what? For these teams that have these new free agents, these rookies, it's their debut, and an exciting debut for them. Even though it doesn't count in the record books or in the standings, it's exciting to see your player on the field in a new uniform for the first time.
The Undies laundry on the field, and I think it's on Baltimore again. That it would be their 4th penalty tonight.
And still winning despite the sloppy play.
Don't often see 4 penalties on any one team in an SFL game. That flag on Edward Morgan, and will move the ball all the way back to the 14-yard line.
Yeah, and the veterans in this league, they'll tell you that, sometimes you have to play not only better than the defense or the team that you're facing across the field, but better than the officials. You can't use them as an excuse as to why you lose. You just have to say, you know what, we should have done better.
1st and 10 of the 14. Gaines will get the handoff, and look at the over pursuit from New Orleans' defense. That's about the easiest run in the preseason you're ever going to see. Gaines with 125 yards and 2 touchdowns tonight.
Well, making it look too easy, Cam, but give credit to the defenders here. Both of them are blocked and able to fight off those blocks to get their hands on to TJ Gaines and bring him down. So good effort by those 2 individual defenders, but overall the defensive performance tonight for the Pharaohs has been severely lacking.
Holder at the top of the screen and Warfield at the bottom. Expect to see a lot of 2 receiver, 1 tight end sets for the Vultures this season. They're going to flip it out to Gaines, and boy, Gaines still even getting 2 yards, or getting hit 2 yards deep in the backfield, picks up 2 on that play.
Now, I do want to mention this, Cam. I know I feel like I'm being overly negative maybe towards the Pharaohs, especially their defense. I do got to say this. These are vanilla schemes, vanilla playbooks. These teams don't want to give away any of their secrets for the regular season. So you're not seeing what a playbook and what schemes can do to affect the performance of each side of the ball.
Dazzo's pass caught short of the first down. Thomas Paternini in the chat says, wow, Cam commentating preseason games. Yeah, I told my butler, I said, hey, Chives, I'm gonna need you to watch the mansion for a little while, because I gotta go and call this preseason game. It's something I can do for the betterment of the people.
You're like the Vin Scully of the SFL. You need no warm-ups, sir.
3rd and 2. Handoff to T. Roy Gaines is annihilated by Mac McDaniel. What a hit! McDaniel has lost nothing in the offseason.
Yeah, he lost his name, but other than that, he hasn't lost anything off his performance. As he went by Heath McDaniel II in the previous season. Now it's just Mac McDaniel, which he's known. He's really known by that more. As both him and his father used to play for me in Dallas. And, just a wonderful family, a terrific person to have in your locker room, and I really have a lot of belief in that he's going to be able to impact both sides of the ball here in New Orleans. And as I said, they were 1 win away from the playoffs last season, so kind of just shows you what the potential of this team really is.
Jack, just 32 yards on 12 carries, has had a bit of a rough night in his Pharaohs debut, but did get a touchdown in the first quarter. 21-17, Pharaohs get a stop to start the half as Gold flips it outside to Wolf, who is immediately hit by McFly.
And I have zero doubts that the New Orleans is going to be able to figure out how to get Jack more or bigger and better running lanes and opportunities. They had so much success with Dark Bonkers last season that they're going to be able – they know the schemes, they know the plays that really benefit that running style, and I think Logan Jack shares a lot of those traits.
4 receivers spread out for Gold. Gold to throw on 2nd and 7. Deep ball. Oh, dropped again. Goodness gracious. That's a drop by Mickey Bischoff. And he can piss off. It's the preseason. Right?
And that may be the Achilles heel here for this offense in New Orleans. They as we mentioned already before, only investing 4 offensive contracts into this side of the ball. That means they're going to have to heavily rely on some of these role players that aren't used to getting this many snaps.
3rd and 7, Goal with 4 receivers again, and running a crosser, breaking a tackle, getting the first down is the receiver. That was Adalius Anderson making the play.
Cam, I actually think that was Lynch.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We've seen earlier before, but great individual effort. As you know, I'm never a fan on 3rd down of throwing in front of the sticks, and you're putting the onus on here, a role player, to make the extra effort. But Lynch has come away with a couple good plays here in this preseason game.
7:52 to go in the 3rd. New Orleans still moving. Gold picked up a block, but some pressure in Gold's face, and Powell dove for it and couldn't get there.
Yeah, that's probably something that teams that have New Orleans on their schedule are going to be looking to do. If you give this quarterback time in the pocket, he's going to dissect you. So a lot of these SFL teams now, we've all started transitioning to getting more pressure on the quarterback, and that in turn causing rushed plays and hopefully turnovers and takeaways.
7:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. 3 receivers, 2 backs in the backfield. Gold changing the play. Gold to throw. Flip outside. And Jack dragged Daz out of bounds and then knocked over a teammate. Sorry, 3rd and 8.
You got to be careful on those sidelines, Cam. I see a lot of these guys when I'm watching games. You see these big kind of overweight, out of shape photographers on the sidelines just get totally pelted by a player, and the player doesn't even offer to pick him up or anything. He just gets up and runs back to the huddle, and you just got a grown man there laying on the ground crying.
You know, I got a story about that, and I'll tell you after this play. 3rd down and 8. Gold just got it away. Oh, it's incomplete. Dropped again. Dropped again by Bischoff. Cut this man. 4th and 8. Anyway.
Golly, Xander Gold's got to be having deja vu flashbacks from last season of all those passes that were dropped.
Well, I can guarantee you, I don't think there's going to be too many spread them out formations on this New Orleans team, because they're not going to want anything to do with the depth of this wide receiving core. If they're going to keep playing like that, they're going to want to keep it in Powell and Wolf's hands. So I'm at the football game. I'm at a football game, covering a football game, and typically our crew, right? The whole crew helps us pack up all of the equipment, right? At this football game. That includes the photographer who, hangs back, has to drop off photos, all that stuff. Well, it's funny because the photographer comes back up into the press box and he says, "Hey, did you see me get hit out there?" And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world would I have seen it? I've got so many things going on. How would I have seen you get hit? I just didn't see it. As Dazzo, look at that, wide open. That pass is caught. Nice throw there to the outside. That's Apollo again with his second catch. I said, no, I didn't see you get hit. And he said, oh, yeah, I got hit pretty bad. And he showed me the photo right before he got hit. I said, oh, my gosh, he ran right into you. And he said, yeah, I know. And the photographer proceeded to not help us pick up anything on our way home because he was so distraught and hurting over getting hit by this football player. And I thought to myself, you know, I'm not even sure you did get hit because I didn't see that. And I think you just didn't want to help us. So I don't know. You know. I don't know if it was true or not.
That was at a football game, right?
Yeah. No, it was at a Quidditch match. Yes. So what are we doing right now?
Oh, no, you could have female volleyball. It could have been, you know what I mean? He could have got hit out of bounds by a voluptuous college female.
A voluptuous college. Hey now, I work at a university. Stop trying to get me in trouble. 2nd and 4.
No, you know, here's my point here. You know, in basketball games, we often see like the players run right into the camera, you know, and over cameraman. But in football, it's so much different because these are gladiators in a violent sport that wear pads. And then you're and a padded guy with a hard helmet hits a 300-pound photographer who just got out of line at McDonald's, and he's going to incur some injuries. I mean, there's inherent danger right there. So I was just wondering, well, you know, if it was a guy that was full on in gladiator wear that hit this guy, or if it was just some volleyball player.
I don't think he even got hit. Bennett hit Gaines pretty hard there on that last play. A 5-yard loss forces a 3rd down and 9 for Dazzo and the Vultures. A deep drop back and firing it out to the near side. Pass caught by Warfield to move the chains for Baltimore as they try to extend this 4-point lead.
Well, beautiful play call there. Deep outs where it sends your outside receivers to the outside. And here, just Bishop running a perfect route. And what that does on that deep out, it just spreads the defense out. And that cut, really gives a lot of separation for the wide receiver. But the key to the play is time in the pocket. You have to have time for that play to develop there. Offensive line does a good job of keeping this defense at bay.
This is why we have preseason too, because nobody has commented in the chat since I started telling my story. So clearly it put everybody to sleep.
They've fallen asleep.
Yeah, I know, and I can't do that on the air. T-Roy Gaines, man, he's trying to pump everybody up. He's got another 1st down on the 27.
Boy, and it's becoming just all too common, Cam, that these kind of runs here that we would see on other teams that go, wow, that's just terrific. It's just normal, everyday stuff now from T-Roy Gaines. And look, we are looking for someone to take over that SFL MVP mantle with Iniola leaving the league. This T-Roy Gaines here, guy's got to be considered a candidate.
Kirk Lawrence playing leapfrog there with Gary Bertier after the block, and Gaines hurdling a defender on the ground is wrestled down by Bertier, a loss of 1 with 4:52 left to go in the 3rd. New Orleans still hanging around here on the road.
Yeah, and you know what? These linebackers here, they're prideful here for the Pharaohs. You know that they're taking the fact that Gaines is running so easily. They're taking that personally. So, your biggest weapon against a against a running back this size is your linebackers.
4:30 left in the 3rd, 2nd and 11. Dazzo back to pass. Dazzo to the end zone. Caught just ahead of the end zone by Warfield at the 5-yard line. Sure-handed Bishop Warfield, the rookie, making some impressions tonight.
Right, relatively quiet, Cam, in the first half. Warfield starting to make some noise now, and this is what you want to see, out of a rookie that's actually, undrafted rookie that is coming in and replacing basically what your number 1 wide receiver. You want to see plays like this out of him. A little scary in the first half that we didn't see him as much, but they featured Weber so much.
4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. 1st and goal from the 5. Handoff. Gaines. Another vicious hit he takes. This is Bennett putting him down on Gaines' 21st carry of the night.
Well, Bennett is no slouch at 6'4", 227. 98 tackles last season at strong safety. 7 pass defense and 4 interceptions, actually, which is great from that position.
And off Gaines. Nowhere. Gaines decapitated for a loss of 3 yards. That's McDaniel again.
Wow, Cam, I've got to look back at this formation here and see where they're lining up McDaniel, because I thought they were lining up on the right-hand side of the line, but he's making plays that the left side linebacker should be making.
So this is Dazzo now on 3rd and goal from the 8. He's been magical on 3rd down on this series. 3:06 to go in the 3rd. Back to pass. Dazzo hit as he threw. Cut. Touchdown for Baltimore. And it's Edward Morgan, the 2nd role player to catch a touchdown pass tonight for the Vultures.
Well, that's been the difference in this game. The role players for Baltimore are making plays, and New Orleans receivers are role players are dropping passes. So again, this player here, this play benefits from the formation. That trips right, confuses the defenders, allowing for just enough separation for a veteran like Dazzo to easily find his target in the end zone.
Boy, Dazzo looks as good as ever. I mean, he's on the money, even with the defense bearing down on him. Neither team has gotten many sacks tonight, and the Pharaohs, with a couple of defensive linemen, have definitely not gotten the pressure that they wanted, and it's now 28-17. The Vultures now, I believe, have scored more points than any other team in the preseason.
You know, a veteran like Dazzo was not happy with his performance last season. 17 touchdowns, 23 interceptions.
17, that's it?
Unless my stats are wrong, which they have been before.
I trust you.
But you know, let's not forget that they had such a powerful running game that a lot of their offense went through T-Roy Gaines. But and they can confirm that in the chat. You know, help our stats out. And maybe at times before in the past, stats have been wrong on the website. We've always taken credit for that and corrected, and especially in the preseason, we want to make sure we get that right. But yeah, if these numbers are true, you know, it was kind of a down season for Dazzo. We're typically, you know, see him make less mistakes and mistake-free football. Here, he's been absolutely mistake-free, and his play tonight actually makes me even question if these numbers are right.
3 receivers, 2 in the backfield, handoff, Jack. Logan Jack! Nobody could touch him in a foot race with Thornberry. Breaks a tackle, 30, 20. Jack is dragged down by Dazzo, slowed down by Thornberry at the 12-yard line.
Woo, wow, the rookie showing that initial burst in speed, Cam. Here, he shows what he can do when he actually has an opening. Look at him just take advantage right through the middle of all that traffic, wide open running lane, and the speed. Now, he's a big boy, so he started to wear out a little bit, not used to running that far. But, boy, you can see the potential, how that's just going to build and build and build as the season progresses.
What hustle by the veteran, Joe Dazzo, too. Man, he was booking it down the field to catch up to Jack and prevent a touchdown. Now Gold changing the play at the line, trying to take full advantage of the long run from Jack. Easily his longest run of the night. Gold's pass in the middle is complete. Down to the 3-yard line, 1 yard shy of the first down marker. Matt Wolf with the catch.
And, man, you can see here that the potential that New Orleans has offensively. You know, without those drop passes by role players, I think this game would be a lot closer. And look, they're within striking distance here.
High formation, Jack going for his 2nd touchdown of the night. He's not going to get there. Amon takes the great Amon with the stop. 3rd and 1.
Yeah, it takes 101 tackles, 13 tackles for loss last season, and made the Pro Bowl as a rookie. You know, in fact, all of the Vultures Pro Bowl players on the defensive side of the ball.
3rd and 1 at the 3, 1:23 to go in the 3rd. 2 in the backfield for Gold, and everybody is bunched up right on that line of scrimmage. Gold gonna throw, and Xander Gold's got a touchdown. What a play from New Orleans as he caught Baltimore napping in the backfield, and the touchdown pass is caught by Roman Vickers.
Well, you got to love the play call, Cam. It's helmet on helmet. It looks like they're both in a goal line formation, and a little trickery there by the Pharaohs to call that passing play. Could have maybe thrown it to potentially three different receivers to get that touchdown. Finds the one that's the most wide open. That's what happens when you got a guy like Gold there under center.
New Orleans not chasing points. They're going to kick the extra point down 5.
And I don't hate them for that. I think you take the easy points here. No reason to try and have to push it in, especially considering how well the Vultures, at least at the beginning of this game, stopped the run early.
I think teams know when we walk in the building. This is a fantastic ball game. Lots of rookies and free agents just showing out tonight.
Yeah, Cam. We've had some really been really blessed by having some terrific games for the last couple of seasons, and a lot of that has to do with a lot of times we were doing the user picked games. Those guys that the community picked our games for a lot of the ones that we had to cover. But here, we've just been blessed to just have really competitive games.
So 1st and 10 at the 32. 1:09 left to go in the third. And Dwayne Schindler said it best of the chat. Back and forth we go. Dwayne Schindler, Achilles Frank, Zoxtra, Mighty RX, Snippa Eagle Eye as that pass caught by Gaines out of the backfield for pickup of a few. Luke Carrillo 7, Johnny Boy 26, the Jack Gamer, Blue Tiger, plenty of great SFL Nation in the chat as both quarterbacks over 200 yards and have more touchdowns and interceptions tonight.
And Cam, this is just fun. The season's coming back. It's just great to be here on a Saturday night, chill with my buddy, watch some football here. And these teams, they've played so well offensively. It makes for an entertaining game.
Gains no gain. Arthur on the stop, or actually that may have been Ray West making the play. So nice to get a chance to shout out Ray West playing on that defensive front. 3rd and 8 at the 34-yard line. Critical 3rd down conversion here for Dazzo. Otherwise, New Orleans is going to take momentum into the 3rd quarter. Dazzo, deep ball, wide open. It's caught by Holder. 20-10, touchdown, Baltimore.
Cameron, pure speed there by Holder on the fade route, able to get a lot of separation. That's just one-on-one, my speed against yours, and boy, what a great jump that he got there. Number 25, let's see, what's the name there on 25? Excuse me, Jules Howard, as we continue to learn these names, absolutely just got burned. Had the speed to stay with him, but that initial burst really surprised him out of the gate, and by the time he caught up, Holder had the ball, and he was gone for the touchdown.
Daley Holder taking advantage of some vanilla game planning there from New Orleans.
Yeah.
As Rolliman Hood stand on the sideline going, I totally would have covered that better. 3 seconds left in the third. Lucky for New Orleans, Rolliman Hood will be on speedsters like Holder throughout the season outside of cornerback, and instead Baltimore has put up 35 on New Orleans, and just like that, just when you thought New Orleans was starting to take some momentum in this game, Baltimore steps on the throat.
Well, also, let's remember that, for this Baltimore team, they've stayed relatively the same, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They only have 2 rookies on this Baltimore Ravens team, so they're pretty consistent with the players that they had from last season coming over. Whereas for the Pharaohs...
Whoa, Aaron Arrington, what, are you going to disappear? Not from this Baltimore defense, all the way back. They're going to give them forward progress to the 24-yard line, which is ludicrous, as that was one of the craziest kickoff returns I have ever seen. End of the 3rd quarter. What a wacky game the Simulation Football League is. 35-24, Baltimore on top. Back in a moment. Gold's pass complete to Roman Vickers. Picks up 6, and New Orleans offense still rolling.
Yeah, and you know, and trying to keep pace with Baltimore, and you know, I'm sure that these offensive players here for the Pharaohs are looking at the defense like, hey, give us a chance here. You know, we're scoring at a pretty good clip, but you're going to have to make a play or two for us in order for us to get back in this ball game.
Xander Gold, 2nd and 4, late blitz, pass. Oh, what a throw from Gold! That was right over the top of double coverage, and Deezer Powell's up to $1.15.
And give Powell a lot of credit here on this route. He actually gains last millisecond separation in order to get in front of the defender, grab that pass. It was a great little burst of speed right there at the end in order to make that play happen. But, you know, we talked about Gold being Xander Gold being a marksman there, and it just shows you there him throwing the receiver open when he's double covered.
Gold, hands off to Jack, and Joe Dadno all over that. Thomas Paternini's got the jokes in the chat room. He says, hot take, we've decided to just use the default playbook this season. And everyone else in the league says, yeah, you do that.
Yeah. See, you know what? That would be an interesting experiment because, you know, plays that coaches love and you know, they go to season after season, they're included in this playbook. They can come up in these generic playbooks. It's just the stinkers are the ones, like normally the toss plays like this, although Jack does a great job of breaking it to the outside. The stinker plays are the ones that you want to avoid, the ones that had the tendency for turnovers or you know, lost yardage.
They're down in 6. Look at Gold's numbers, 138.4 rating on the road against a playoff team from last season, a team he's never faced. He has grown up quick. 3rd and 6 for Gold. Gold, deep shot, incomplete. I couldn't tell if the pass was just a little bit behind him or that was another drop from Joel Hart.
I think, Karen, that pass was a catchable one. And that's what, you know, Gold tends to always deliver. Rarely do you see this kid make a bad pass, Cam. You know, it's usually his receivers or his tight ends that are failing him. It's the reason why that isn't play, or just a great play by the defender. But when it comes to accuracy, this kid is, well, to be frank, Dazzle-like in this game. He's just on the numbers, and just have a feeling when he sits back there and you give him enough time, always going to put the ball right on target.
New Orleans punts it away, and that's kind of disappointing because the Pharaohs have been going blow for blow with the Vultures all night long. And I tell you what, I mean, you said it earlier best, that the difference in this game has just been Baltimore's just had more depth tonight.
And, you know, I also have to mention, you know, Logan Jack for all the good couple of run plays that he's had. He's been stopped a lot behind the line, and that hurts your momentum in a series and causes those long 3rd downs that just don't quite get converted.
Tank Bennett smacks Gaines down after a 3-yard gain. And Gaines has not been hit in the backfield too much tonight, but give New Orleans defense some sort of credit. They are some kind of hitters out there, man. They are laying the wood.
Yeah, anytime their strong safety or one of their linebackers is able to put a helmet, get on T-Roy Gaines, it's usually a stop right there. It's just been kind of everyone else that has had to kind of kneel to his, you know, presence out there because he's just such a powerful back. But those big defenders, those guys there are really made to stop the run.
Rolliman Hood out there, and he knocks that one away. Nice coverage there from Hood. It brings up 3rd and 7. We'll get another look at it.
Yeah, there him just playing inside zone there. Actually knocks it away with his elbow, it looks like. But just making sure that his body, big, lanky body there, is able to get in front of the rookie tight end Weber, who's been catching everything tonight.
But has been quiet in the second half. We really haven't heard much of Weber at all, and there he is on the sideline.
Looks like an identical twin to Mac McDaniel.
Really?
Yeah, they look exactly alike.
Well, you've been profiling lately.
Well, Mac was on my team, so I know what the face looks like.
Jones will not, or Gaines rather, will not get the 1st down. I was going to say, you get off that bumble.
I don't know what that means. I'm old.
4th and 6.
I think it means I'm some sort of stalker.
Well, no. He's just looking for a good time. 4th and 6.
Oh, hey, shoot, let me look up Bumble right now.
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. We're almost off the air. We almost made it. Vultures are punted away. Pharaohs get the stop. And Arrington's got a lot of room here. Aaron Arrington almost squeezed through 6 different Vultures, and he gets it up to the Baltimore 47-yard line.
So you're saying that Bumble's not going to be a future sponsor?
Oh, well, you never count anybody out, you know?
There we go. No, we talk about Arrington and that famous ghost game that he had last season where he mysteriously disappeared from the lineup and then made his reappearance to make that key kickoff return, and that's just the stuff of legends, man.
Nice spin from Jack, and as I look down, New Orleans has 24 points on the board, and I kind of got some chills.
Just some memories, a little deja vu, huh?
Well, it's his number, so.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I don't know where you're going, man. I'll be honest.
I know that. Since you're like, let me just go look up this Bumble. I'm picking up on that. High formation, hand off to Jack, and didn't get much. A nice spin on that last play. But it's 3rd down and 5 now for Gold. Big 3rd down here, down 2 scores with 6:50 to go.
Yeah, where has the offensive production gone that we saw here in that first half? You know, some of these, I think maybe the defense is starting to key in a little bit better. Maybe starting to use some of those plays they plan on using in the regular season to try to stop this offensive explosion.
Oh, Powell caught it in double coverage at the 16-yard line. I can't believe it. Powell's got 142 yards. He has been all that and more of a free agent pickup. Look at this catch.
Xander Gold not afraid, Cam, to throw it into double coverage. We've seen him do that tonight. Here, what's unusual about this is that Powell just joined this team, and he's already got the trust of his quarterback in between 3 players. That's not a 50-50 ball. That's more like a 33-66% ball there.
Man, Deezer Powell been really impressive, and Xander Gold trusting in his new receiver. 6:05 to go in the 4th. Hand off to Jack, and Jack cannot make, takes, miss. Loss of 2. Another loss for Jack in the backfield. That's got to be at least 10 tackles for loss for Baltimore tonight.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons in Dallas, and I don't want to bring my team into it, but it just really applies that we kind of shied away from the running game. Because for as good as the running game can be, it can also put you in situations behind the line of scrimmage like this.
Back to pass. Gold steps up, almost took off and run, probably should have, and then it was nearly caught off of Dazzo's back, but Vickers could not bring it in, and it's 3rd and 12.
Yeah, it's Wolf, the intended receiver. Dazzo makes a great play, but the ball bounces right into the hands of number 85, Vickers, and isn't able to come down with it. Maybe he should have. Now here we are. Again, it started with that run, Cam, behind the line of scrimmage, getting stopped. Put them in this tough 3rd and 12 conversion.
3rd down with 5:35 to go, and 4 wide receivers here for Gold. They've struggled out of this formation tonight. Deep ball down the middle, caught, touchdown, Deezer Powell. Game's not over yet.
And the confidence, Cam, of Gold drops back, and it just seemed like the moment that he dropped back, he knew where he was going. He was looking down Deezer Powell the entire time, even despite the fact that he hadn't got open yet, releases the ball, trusting that Powell has that blazing speed to get the separation he needs.
I have not seen a connection, and what do you think of this, Steven? I'd go for 2 here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's that 5-minute point, though, Cam. Usually with that 5 minutes, it's kind of a crucial area that coaches look to do those and kind of make those kind of decisions, specifically on, onside kicks. So I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is behind it. Again, I think maybe because you have a rookie running back and the best play for those 2-point conversions is to run the ball, that you just don't trust him yet enough.
I don't know, man. Xander, they just threw on the 2-yard line with Xander Gold, got a touchdown a few drives ago.
Right.
I think the mindset is if we miss it and then we score a touchdown, Baltimore can win it with a field goal, and they know that they got Tarkington, and they'd rather take a 3-point lead later than have a chance to tie the game with a field goal, which obviously Zen Lee is not what Tarkington can do. So interesting Interesting thoughts there. It is a game of chess.
Well, consider the fact that the Pharaohs used their trick play to get into the end zone early. So Baltimore's defense is going to be looking for that. True. And so, you know, the counter to that would be to run the ball, which I don't think they're real confident doing right now.
Hand off Gaines, and they string him out, but he gets away anyway. T. Roy Gaines, again, making something out of nothing, 143 yards and 5.5 yards a carry.
You talk about last night, A.J. Francis making a statement game. You know, Gaines is making he's made a statement season from what he did last season. He's just continuing that progression. And boy, if he can continue to progress this season based on what we're seeing now, this guy's going to be a beast.
4:53 left. New Orleans looking for a stop. Dazzo, sidearm. Oh my gosh, no way. Lee Weber, are you kidding me? That was quadruple coverage. Please give us a replay. Oh my gosh.
Cam, I think that Dazzo actually wanted to throw it out to Gaines, but saw that he was covered out there in the flat and made a desperation toss to Weber, and not a clean pass at all. He apparently got hit, or his arm got hit when he made the throw. Somehow, in all that traffic, Weber comes down with amazing.
That was 4 different defenders on Weber. I don't think I've ever seen a player catch a ball in quadruple coverage. That was ridiculous from Weber. Dazzo's pass is caught by Warfield, and I have a feeling that either Weber or Dazzo lost a bet.
Well, okay, you're going to have to explain that one to me.
Well, Weber goes into the huddle and he says, hey, it's the preseason, nobody cares. Throw me the ball, everybody's going to cover me. And Dazzo's going to say, there's no way you're going to catch that. And Weber says, I bet you $10. Dazzo says, you're on. So he throws the ball down the field, and Weber tosses to the sideline. He says, you owe me $10.
Wow, it's amazing how your mind works.
2nd and 5. Gaines got a pretty good mind, too. Gaines, oh, mama, has a good shoulder to boot to the 34-yard line.
And just, you know what, really great blocking in front of him allows him to get past the first down marker. And then it's really game over for the first guy that sees him in the secondary.
Oh,
you know,
Kappa again.
And it just been killing Kappa all night long. And give credit to Kappa Jones. He's putting his helmet in there. He's giving his entire body to stop him. But Gaines has just literally had his number tonight.
I got to ask you a question, Steven, after this next play.
Boy.
1st and 10 at the 34. And the Vultures trying to bleed a little bit of clock. Gaines going nowhere in the backfield, lost of 3. Do you have a lighter, Steven, by chance?
It's 2018, so no.
Because I got to go to church and light a candle for Kappa Jones. Pray for him.
Well, you know what? You can just they usually have those long matches over there. You can just take from one candle, put it on another.
Yeah,
I'm aware. That's a Cameron Irvine thought process.
Yeah, no, I'm aware, but you can't set up the punchline without asking you for a letter. But what do you know? 3:10 to go in the 4th. New Orleans is trying to get one final stop so they can get the ball back here, and Gaines not going anywhere again. So they're going to bleed this down to about 2:24 on the clock, and this is interesting now, talking about that 2-point conversion that they did not attempt, because they're right on the outskirts of Tarkington's field goal range.
Yeah, Cam, and if let's say they try for something here, if they're not able to convert or get more yardage here, then if you give the ball to New Orleans, it gives them a short field.
2:35 left. Dazzo out of the gun. And the handoff goes to Gaines. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't necessarily expect that. McDaniel picks up his 10th tackle. And they're going to just run the clock all the way to the 2-minute warning and take the easy way out, try to play some defense.
I think it makes sense in based on the way that Gaines has been running, Cam, and the fact that it was such a long conversion, 3rd and 14, the defense you would think would be prepared for the pass. So maybe you get enough yards through your running back, you know, to get into field goal range.
That's the 2-minute warning brought to you by Quip. Back on the other side of it, this is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Trying to coffin corner this thing, may be successful. Oh, it took a bounce backwards at the 1-yard line. Unbelievable.
And Cam benefited from the fact that the special teams guy that was out there that could have caught the ball ran past it into the end zone and allowed that ball to actually hit, and it did a little Tiger Woods spin back to the hole.
That first bounce it got was not a favorable one as it bounced back into play. And look at this. New Orleans now has to go 99 yards in the preseason to try to win with 3 timeouts and 1:50 to go. And Gold's going to throw out of his own end zone to Powell to the 14.
And it's your best weapon. You know that the Gold's arm is your bread and butter. Why not go to it?
Gold again. Oh, it's intercepted by McFly. Touchdown, Baltimore. Unbelievable play.
Well, I have been preaching at the altar of Gold all night, and he has been so good at making those floating type passes over defenders. But McFly, the Pro Bowler, not fooled on this one. The athletic ability, wow, the jump off 1 foot, Cam, to grab that, snatch it out of the air, and run it in for the easy touchdown.
That, you know, Stephen, that was the one he thought he had earlier tonight. It was almost the same part of the field there where McFly was trying to undercut a route, and this time he actually gets one. And Baltimore's put up a 40-burger here tonight, and the no McFly zone alive and well in Maryland.
And the first mistake by either one of these quarterbacks happens with just over a minute 30 left here in the game. And it looks like it's going to seal this one up for Baltimore.
Woo! It's hard to remember that this is preseason stuff right here, and I think Stephen, it's because when you watch that other 3-letter league, preseason just isn't this fun.
Yeah, the NBA, tough thing to watch, right?
I don't even know how to respond. Me undies, laundry on the field, more penalties here tonight. It's been sloppy as somebody needs to put some Tide Pods in.
Your references, Bumble. Ask me if I have a lighter.
Hey, everything's dirty, man. There's too much laundry on the field. Come on.
You have an iPod Shuffle? I mean, it's just a random question.
iPod Shuffle?
Yeah, it's almost as outdated as a lighter in the days of vapor.
Oh, come on. One reference was outdated. Now you're calling Tide Pods outdated?
But I'm the old man in this relationship. I'm the one who's supposed to make the dad jokes and the old references to Knight Rider and things like that. That's me.
Well, then step your game up then. I'm tired of carrying you.
You step your game up, Bumble.
Hey, you know, speaking of that, calling me Bumble. I was playing dominoes, a domino game with my dad over the off season, and he called me Malta Meal. And I said, "What is Malta Meal?" As Powell gets another first down, and he said, "It's a type of porridge." And I said, "Porridge?
Porridge?
Who just knows types of porridge and calls me?" I said, "What are you calling me that for anyway?" He said, "Because you're being basic right now." I said, "Basic? So you're calling me porridge?" He was upset I didn't play something. We were partners in the game. It was ridiculous. So you calling me Bumble? How about I call you Malta Meal? We'll just settle this right now.
Well, I think that's the first time that porridge and basic have ever been used in the same sentence there.
Unbelievable. Gold trying to lead a drive here and almost threw another pick as Baltimore was all over it.
Wow, that just, it just reminds me of how much fun we had with your dad when he's come out and did the championship game commentary with us, and how much I've missed having him do the commentary. But we had an opportunity to see each other again at the convention earlier this year, and had each of our teams play each other in the first game. And Cam, that was by far the best experience I've had here in the SFL.
That was a crazy game too. That was back and forth all over the place. Gold down the field, wide open. I mean, wide open. And man, Bischoff, you can't drop that. That was too easy.
Yeah, and you're thinking, wow, where was that earlier? You know what I mean? Those kind of catches, they could really use them. But again, this is a guy that you want to instill confidence in, Cam. He's lost it certainly in this game because of his dropped passes. We want to instill a little confidence in him before we get into the regular season, and these games really count. So Gold not afraid to go back to him to help build that confidence.
58 seconds to go. If I was New Orleans, I got all 3 timeouts, man. I think about kicking the field goal right now as that pass is incomplete in traffic. That was intended for Matt Wolf, who's been targeted 12 times tonight. But you have a chance to make it a 1-score game right now.
Right.
Why waste more time? Just send Zen Lee out there. You got to get a field goal at some point.
Maybe they feel like the experience that this offense needs to get is greater than trying for the win at this point. That would be the only way. I totally agree with you, though. Kick the field goal. It's a relatively easy field goal, not a gimme, but a relatively easy one. And then if you could get the onside kick, you could possibly have, a good 40 seconds or so to try to get marched down the field 50 yards.
With all 3 timeouts, too. Still in their pocket. They don't want to start wasting those until it's a 1-score game. Gold, deep ball down the field, intercepted. Intercepted by Bolt, and that's going to put a wrap on things. That's too bad. That is too bad for New Orleans because they put on a heck of a show tonight.
And, Cam, I've talked a lot about this defense, and I think that this defense, the Pharaohs, defense really is what sparked all these turnovers because Gold didn't feel pressured to make some of these throws until less than 2 minutes left in the game, and he's thrown 2 interceptions.
Yep.
Because now he's having to press because his defense hasn't been able to really make any headway against this Vultures offense.
It's amazing, this wonderful game of football, as Gaines is going to take the handoff, and they're still running plays because New Orleans still has all 3 timeouts, and they'll take one there because, the game's not over. Situational football here in the preseason, you got to work on it.
And some of these guys, especially the backup guys, they just get so little practice reps during the offseason that any extra reps and snaps that you can get them, even if it means calling timeouts in a game that's already lost, is meaningful to them.
So 2nd down and 11 here. And the handoff will go to Gaines, and Gaines dragged down by Arrington. Really nice open field tackle there. Calls their 2nd timeout. And especially with Aaron Arrington returning punts, you never know either what they can do in the special teams game.
Yeah, but undoubtedly Arrington and players that I think of like Max Jackson and Gabriel Manning, their presence is so prolific in the return game. It makes such a big difference, and it's just so important to take the fatigue risk on the other side of the ball.
Oh, Gaines picked up a huge block, and that's the ball game. What a play down the field. That was definitely the ever-scroll block of the game, brought to you by Movement. Look at this shot down the field. Wham!
Wow, number 72, the big fella, getting Vincent getting out in front there in the key block to spring Gaines, who had already benefited from a really big hole in the middle of the offensive line. And boy, these Pharaohs defense have just got to be shaking their heads. Absolutely no answer for Gaines, and we're not even talking about Dazzo and this terrific debut by this rookie tight end, Lee Weber.
Well, we'll get to see New Orleans in week 1 when they are at Houston. They start off with a 2-game road trip. Obviously, that is a rematch of a big game late in the season when the Pharaohs had a chance to knock Houston out and get in, and Houston ended up winning that game and then all the way to the semifinals. And so New Orleans definitely wants something to say about that.
And it's a good lesson to be learned here as New Orleans traveling into Baltimore to face a very strong Vultures team, and that sets them up to be on the road in Houston in week 1.
Wow, what a game. 42-31. Baltimore gets the victory and forces 2 turnovers in the final 2 minutes. A back-and-forth track meet tonight in Baltimore. And your final stats look like this. Almost, 905 yards of total offense in the preseason, and Baltimore nearly rushed and threw for 200.
Yeah, Cam, and the biggest takeaways from this game, obviously, here is we're showing T-Roy Gaines, his continued dominance, the terrific debut by the tight end Lee Weber, number 44 there for the Vultures, making some terrific catches. Bishop Warfield in the second half, you know, the new wide receiver for the Vultures, started to show some life. Daily Holder showing what he can do as a longtime star in this league. A lot of exciting things there on the offensive side of the ball for Baltimore. Defensively, it's that same hard-hitting, turnover, takeaway defense that we saw all last season, led by McFly and Holt that picks in this game. For the Pharaohs camp, Xander Gold had a flawless game, really, up until those final 2 minutes when he was pressed, but he was near perfect. Logan Jack, what a great rookie debut, although he was stopped a lot more behind the line, I think, than either of us like. The combination of Wolf and Powell looked very exciting in the receiver core. And finally, this Pharaohs defense certainly know what they're capable of. Made some big tackles in this game, but really got burnt both through the air and on the ground by a Vultures offense. Really came to play tonight.
Deezer Powell was fun to watch. Over 200 receiving yards for this Pharaohs squad. And I'll tell you what, man, Xander Gold looked every bit as electric as he did down the stretch last season. Baltimore, just too many playmakers down the stretch. Gaines finishes with 176 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Tony Willis finished off with 10 tackles, as did Tank Bennett. Final thoughts?
Yeah, I think these are two teams. Obviously, in Baltimore, you know they have a history of success. They came back last season stronger than ever, and the addition of T-Pat has really made them, I think, a team that you have to consider in that championship talk. So nothing that I saw tonight dissuades me from that. For the Pharaohs, they look like a team that's experienced a little transition here in the offseason. They were a borderline playoff team, and now the question is, can these changes put them over the hump, or is it going to put them behind the 8 ball?
Gaines, the player of the game, partner. We'll see you Thursday for opening night. What a fun one.
Looking forward to it. Me and my iPod Shuffle, my Bumble, and my lighter will be there ready to get the season kicked off.
From all of us at the SFL Network, I'm Cameron Irvine, and I'm waving goodbye.
Catch me on Bumble, people.